Hi, welcome to the podcast. This is Wave On with Misty. I'm with Luna Moon Stand-Up Paddleboard Yoga here in Sylvan Lake, Michigan. And I want to welcome you to this inspirational podcast where you'll find stories behind the scenes, storytelling on and off of the water. We might talk a little bit about paddleboarding, but there's going to be a wide variety of guests coming, and I'm excited to introduce this podcast for you. I hope you enjoy it. Welcome to the podcast. This is number 1. What a week to start a podcast, but this has been on my mind for a while. And I've had some people in the background who have either supported my crazy ideas or my wild adventures, whether it's on the water or off the water. But I've got them around me tonight. And this is, like I said, number 1. And I've got guests. We have guests tonight.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop. There she is. And it's Lanny Ray.
Yeah.
Lanigan.
The pilot episode.
So you have supported my weird idea of this podcast. And maybe it's not weird anymore because everyone wants a podcast or have been told to go off and chase their dreams and ambitions of whatever. And I don't have a lot of reasoning behind it other than the fact that cleaning out my dad's house, I did find a tape recorder with my name on it. And maybe
that would have been the first podcast machine.
Maybe
without even knowing it.
A lot of kids did this. I don't know.
You were an OG podcaster. You were a podcaster before there were podcasters.
Could have been. There was tapes with my name on it, and I didn't listen to it. But I just said, maybe there's something to this. I don't know. It's all just hearsay, right? But besides the point, I did, like I said, I had supporters, and that's really nice to have, especially when you do have these wild. But we've been friends
for decades, maybe not decades, but
yeah,
close.
I would say decades.
Close to decades.
We're getting close to that.
The crazier the idea, the better. Anytime somebody comes at me with some wild shit, it's like, okay, no, I'm in.
She gets it.
I'll be on the podcast. I'll talk about
It's a brave new world with all this technology at our disposal now, right?
Exactly. Just a couple of idiots playing with some podcast equipment.
Right.
Yeah.
But, like I said, supporters, it's nice. It's nice to have that,
Yeah.
because you guys could have been like, what is she talking about?
It could have just been you on the mic at this point.
That's right. That's right.
Most podcasts are solo at the beginning.
Sure.
Before you get into the concept of guests and questions and, open forum conversations.
Exactly.
And especially the fact that we did a solo run with you already, but it was over the phone and it worked. We got almost an hour and a half, if not hour and a half plus.
We ran out of time.
Of gold, which we'll have in a highlight reel down the road, but that was great.
That'll be the lost footage.
That was stumbling around this Roadcaster podcast machine, trying to figure out all the buttons and bells and whistles, and it seemed to be pretty awesome right from the get-go. It's a pretty easy unit to work with right out of the box, literally.
When this thing is a smash hit, that initial one, that's going to be the long-lost vault footage. It's going to be worth something one day.
That's right. And so besides all of that, when we really get into the nit and gritty of everything, right? Tell me something that you have seen this week other than the election. Okay, we went through that.
Oh, that's a tough one. All that election nonsense. It's been a lot of crazy stuff.
If you were to play fortune teller, let's play fortune teller.
It's a good one.
Okay. And we're at the end of the year. But in your prediction or maybe observation of, what do you see in the beginning of the year?
Oh, that's a good one.
In any of
God, what do I see or what do I hope for? Those are two different things. You know, what's crazy about right now, and, it could be a good thing or a bad thing. I don't think I've ever, this is probably the first time, I don't know if everybody feels this way. This is the first time in my life that I mean, sometimes it scares me, sometimes it excites me, but it's so, with everything going on with the pandemic, and it's an election year, and I really couldn't say. What do I hope for? I hope that, everybody, especially with the holidays coming up, that everyone kind of sets aside whatever foolishness and adults start acting like adults. Mm-hmm. What do I predict? I couldn't even say.
Because every day seemed to be different.
It's equally
right?
Scary and exciting, where you go, well, it really could be anything. I mean, do you guys feel that way? Like you go, this year is something that I don't think I ever could have predicted. So
right. Every month seemed to be a new thing. We were just waiting for, locusts and to fly and frogs to fall from the sky. It was just getting that crazy every single month as it went by since the pandemic started.
That breadth of, what you could possibly expect. I mean, it could be, I could ring in the new year in bed by 9:30 as per usual, or Jesus Christ could come knocking on my door. I don't know. I mean, it could, and anywhere in between.
Mm-hmm. And that's the funny part to me, is that they claimed, it was in New York Times, that yes, there's unusual vehicles been identified. Or I'm saying it probably not the right way. It was definitely record of unidentified.
Oh yeah,
flying whatever, and no, they brushed upon it. Because
they came into the atmosphere. They saw the way we were acting, and they were like, "No, we're all set."
Yeah, we're not touching down here. Fuck that. These people are crazy.
No, we're all set.
Yeah.
It's probably the only good thing that's come out of all of this.
But the suspected release of information from the government saying that we do have evidence of craft of not of this world.
There it is.
Sure.
And
I believe that.
And so having that happen, during this crazy time, is it really true? Is it?
I would believe
just
anything.
To add more fuel to the fire of the craziness of our times right now. I don't know.
There's nothing that you could tell me at this point that I don't think that I would believe to some degree. I mean, things have gone. No one's at the wheel. I can tell you that. Right. No one is at the wheel right now.
Sure, throw whatever you want at us. We got a global pandemic. We've got a crazy lunatic for our president. Exactly. What else? Basically, they're probably just figuring that everybody's probably pretty desensitized at this point. Let's just throw the fact that, there really is UFO evidence. You just throw it out there, and just like,
they're not here anymore. I can tell you that much. Whatever, if there was anything in Area 51, like those people left, like whatever. If there were some secret, they fixed that shit and they left. Those UFOs are in Canada now. I mean, listen, if anything, we've UFO proofed ourselves. We are definitely, no one is coming into this atmosphere and going, you know what? America seems like a good place to land.
Yeah, no.
They packed up and left. No. Whatever's in Area 51, they packed up and left.
Yeah, right.
No, we'll try Canada.
Yeah.
We'll try that.
Yeah.
Maybe go south. Tijuana sounds nice right now.
Yeah, Argentina, right?
Yeah. It's true. I would agree.
It's crazy. And I don't know. I think every day is like, am I scared? Am I excited? And it's just so, it's so unpredictable. Mm-hmm. And you're either going to be one of two people, right? This year, I think has shrunk my circle a little bit, as someone who, I was a fan of social media. I was pretty active on social media. It was something that was fun to me, that I could stay connected to people, and just seeing that the divisiveness and just how bastardized it became and what it turned into. And really just one day I just looked at it and went, no, it's just not for me anymore. And my circle, it just got so much smaller that I think you are going to be one of two people that it either spins out of control or you really do. You just focus on what's important. And that's kind of what I've done is, as long as I'm safe, as long as I can't control anything else. I mean, it's such anarchy that it just, I'm just taking care of me and mine, whether that's right or not. I don't know, is that the right, should I be out there hooting and hollering and protesting, or is it just the best thing for me to do to just make sure that I'm safe and my family's safe?
Yeah.
I think that every week you posted about a food prep.
Exactly. Yeah.
Busy work, single woman, doing her thing. And every Sunday there was this post.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
And it was good. It was good quality
and I loved it.
Stuff. And people were curious.
Yep.
Like our friend, she was following you and then you fell off and is she okay?
Yeah.
Where did she go?
And the amount of people that will still reach out to me like, we miss your food prep. We miss your Sunday, meal prep. And I don't know. It just...
I think everybody's routines just got totally whacked. Just boom, blew up, right?
It did. And I'm that person. I'm just that person that, I'm not a fighter. I'm more of a, walk away and let it be what it is. It just wasn't fun to me anymore.
Yeah.
It
is what it is.
And then that behavior seemed so bizarre. Once I was off it, that just the whole idea of social media, and I don't know if it's because of age or if it was just, when you break from it and then all of a sudden that behavior seems bizarre. Like the whole concept of selfies, I have taken my share of selfies. Okay.
Right.
I'm not going to sit here on my high horse and be like, I haven't duck lipped it in a selfie. You know what I mean? But once you're off it, you just go, the hell are we doing? Human beings are such odd people. Yeah. Like just taking selfies for somebody to be like, looking good, girlfriend. Yeah. Like it just is so bizarre.
Yeah. And luckily you, I guess, fizzled out on that before the whole TikTok thing took a hold.
Yeah. And you know what? Listen, and I will say this.
That's ridiculous in my opinion.
It's bizarre. And I will say this. It didn't, if that's all it was, if that's all social media was, like, I will like your duck lip selfie, but, and I just want to see the pictures of your dog and your food and your kids and but once it started to be, advertising started driving it, and Jeremy, you and I had talked about the when we watched The Social Dilemma. I was like, that's it just morphed into kind of a monster that it just wasn't fun anymore. And then
and we talked about, we're from the generation coming in where we were fairly mature people experiencing the personal computer to the home video game system to the, how slowly you started to see people's attention spans and interests start, getting enveloped in technology. And then we all saw the first evolution of the first cell phone. Obviously they were all from the bag phone to the first brick Motorola phone. So we saw that evolution of how expensive they were. And as you see, the more product is made, the cheaper the technology becomes, the more accessible it is to people. And then we saw, we saw the evolution of that where we didn't have it. And then now we do. And so we're almost like it came into effect at, roughly the mid or the early, teenage to 20-year-old version, or points of our lives.
Yeah.
And then, so we see where it started and obviously see where it's at now. Whereas people, being born now or most millennials being born in the 90s, that was the first thing that they experienced. It was right away, at a very, very young age,
right.
Being thrown, in the back seat with a DVD player to take you away, take your attention away.
And that's how they socialize now.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? That we just didn't, whereas I think we all kind of recognize that, you know, a text is easier, or like we can appreciate it for what it is, but there's generations that's just how they socialize.
Right.
They don't know any different.
Right.
You know?
Exactly. You're just born right into the technology. If a 2-year-old, 3-year-old has a cell phone already.
Right. Right.
We didn't have that shit. I didn't have a cell phone until I was after high school, honestly. In the early 90s when I worked for a construction company, we were given cell phones for communication to the office and to the boss, right?
Same. I was 17.
Right.
So that had to be 1999. I had the old, like the first cell phone game. You know how like you had games on your cell phone? It was that snake game.
No. Nice.
Remember playing the snake game? That was like, you know, it was strictly a toilet game. It really was like, that was the only thing that was like literally the only, you know,
remember
the younger generation can't appreciate that, like
pagers.
Oh, I had a pager.
Beavers.
Oh, I had a pager, and I thought I was hot shit too.
Oh, yeah. Did you have the
I
little
had a teal blue one?
Did you have the little chain on it?
Oh yeah. Nobody paged me.
Have the bling on it?
Nobody paged me.
Anybody just paged you? Paged boobs to you?
There was no "I love you."
Exactly. We just paged each other just to mess with each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody paged me.
Pagers, and then you have to go to the payphone.
Yeah, you still have to find a freaking payphone.
Payphone with 10 cents or 15 cents calling back.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's so funny. But isn't that so crazy? It's so crazy because even like as much shit as I'll talk about it, I am still, come on. I mean, we all live in the new millennium. I'm still one of those people that is very tied to my phone, and if my text goes off or if my phone, it's like I feel like I have to, you know.
Right.
But we didn't grow up like that.
No.
We didn't you grew. I mean, there were times when, you know, you'd have friends that would come knock on your door because your damn mom was on the phone and we didn't have call waiting at the time. So it was like I just decided to walk over here because I've been getting your busy signal for 45 minutes.
Now we're addicted to these notifications that vibrate on your phone, you know, and
as if somebody texts me and I have to answer you back right away. Well, back in the day, you would page me and maybe I would get to a phone an hour later. Yeah.
That was part of that social dilemma thing where the whole notification thing, they found a way to try to grab people's attention and draw them back in if they haven't touched their phone for a while, you know, and
it doesn't have to be Facebook that does that either. There's a plenty of apps that say, hey, we've got deals this week.
And then once you crack that code and get into that phone, then it just spirals. Then it can start dragging you into all multiple directions.
Sure.
You know?
The first people or the first group of people or the first person to figure out that response, that sort of Pavlov's dog sort of, you know, somebody wants me. There's something out there for me that, you know, we just crave that attention. Whoever figured that out.
The tech companies have psychologists, just as many psychologists as they have programmers and coders.
Exactly.
Designers working for their company.
And it works. Tell me that you don't feel the same way, that there's that little bit of dopamine when that phone goes off and it's like, somebody wants me.
Yeah.
And when in all honesty, any one of us, like I could miss a whole week. Wouldn't anything, this world would keep spinning. You know, we all think we're,
right, because we were at that, because we
States.
had a chunk of our lives that didn't rely on the technology. Yeah. And we can always go back to those times in our memories and know what it feels like or what it felt like to be like, I have a better chance of shutting this thing off and disconnecting than any of the new generations now.
Yeah, exactly. And that was when...
And have appreciation for it.
Right, exactly. And I guess that's when, you know, when I had logged off Facebook and logged off Instagram and it felt nice.
Yeah.
There was almost a part of me that was like, all right, well, no, do I really give a shit who, you know, somebody from high school's cousin liked one of my, no, not really, you know. But, you know, it's because we can remember a time when anonymity, that sort of anonymity or even autonomy was sort of nice at some, you know, at some points where there's times that you're like, no, it's cool.
Yeah.
You know, it's nice to have a day where nobody knows where I am and I don't know where anybody else is, but you know,
it's it has to be something to do with just even communication skills, or just being okay with being with yourself, being able to let that stuff go.
Oh, absolutely. And I think a lot of that is lost, right? A lot of that has to be it. I think it's just drilling down to, I think we all have that, don't we? It's what we all want. We all, you know, I think anybody would be lying if they said that they didn't, you know, want some attention, or it's taken that sort of, just kind of a basic human need and, you know, amplified that into dependency.
Right.
You know, where the ability to just kind of be, you know, the ability to be and to just,
right,
you know, be on your own, or that, you know.
And it's hard because, I mean, they keep coming out with technology. Even like when I would teach yoga and someone's wearing one of the Apple Watches and you see it go off, and I'm teaching the class, but it catches my eye even,
right,
and takes you sort of out of the moment for maybe a split second or two. But you really have to control your mind to just, okay, block that out. I didn't see it. Look the other way or whatever. But then if that person even responds to it and starts to look at it or touch it or whatever, now you're back looking at, oh, they're taken back out of the moment again. And well, what if they're not even liking this class I'm teaching, where they don't like what I'm saying because they're so driven by now what's on their wrist that they chose to wear in a class.
That reward of whatever that, you know, whether it's a,
that's why I love paddleboarding. 2 hands on a paddle.
Yeah. You know what? And there's
phones
probably
left behind.
Sure. Yeah. Because I mean, really,
as we segue into paddleboarding. Hey, look at that.
Hey, that's why I love paddleboarding. I'm gone for 3 hours. I leave my phone.
Logistically, you're not going to bring your phone. You know what I mean? That's just
you got 2 hands on a paddle. It's sort of like driving. If not, maybe taking a little bit more into the experience than even driving. Because driving now, you got your GPS, maybe your music. It's all tied to the phone, or the phone's tied to the car system somehow. So now I feel like this is like the only way, or one of, I should say.
Right. The last bastion of true alone time. Just you.
Yeah.
An inflatable.
Yeah.
Paddleboard.
You got your friend out there, and you guys just talking away.
Yeah.
Communicating.
Exactly.
Like old times.
Right.
What I like is that every time I call Lanny, she answers the phone.
Always.
There's sometimes people don't answer the phone, but they'll answer the text back right away. And I get it if you're busy, you're doing something, whatever, you know. But consistently.
Yeah. Just for you.
Just
certain people. Yeah. No, I do. You know what? I do. I always answer my phone.
Always.
It's
like if you're done texting and you want to just talk to someone.
Yeah, that's fun. Okay. That's funny because I have friends who are really, these are good friends who are text friends. I have a very close friend. I consider her a very close friend. I've known her for a decade. I don't think I've ever had a telephone conversation with her. Ever. We've gone out to dinner. We've gone out never. She's not a phone person.
No.
You and I don't text often, though. We don't really have text conversations. You and I are phone people.
We're phone people.
Yeah. There's some people that it's just it can't.
That's how there's just some you click that way, and others just the vibe's not there.
It's annoying. I'm going to be honest with you. The text friends. Like I'm going to need somebody to duke me some money for my copays when I'm going to have to get surgery for carpal tunnel. Having a whole conversation. That's so annoying. And I'm just like, can we just
remember that?
Can I call you? Can we just talk on the phone?
Well, I can remember that being a cool thing.
Yeah.
Because once phones became out of that, like Verizon had that flip phone, the Razor phone that, texting. Yeah. But then they came out with the full keypad.
The full keyboard?
Some of those phones, they were still very they were still pre-iPhone, but it was very cool to have this keyboard.
Yes.
You know, text.
And then it was all downhill. The shit hit the fan from there. Because before that, it was like you had it would take you an hour and a half just write, hi, how are you? Because you'd have to hit the same key. I got to get to the I. Hold on. Let me hit the key. Do you remember that?
Yes.
I can remember. This is the only thing that I will say. The only thing that I do miss about the actual keyboards or like the old school was, tell me no one else has ever done this, that you memorized it. You could listen, I'm not a proponent for texting and driving, but I could have my eyes on the road and I just remembered like the key, like you could just touch, like I recognize the keypad, like just from the touch. Yeah. Can't do that on the touch screen.
No.
I could text and drive like a pro. I don't condone it. I'm just saying, when you can watch the road and then you're just feeling the keys, you can't do that now.
No.
But yeah, no, like back in the day when it took you, you had just that just the numbers, and I'd be like, all right, well, I gotta write there's a C in there somewhere, so I gotta hit the 1 button 3 times just to get to the C. That was
Yep. And you wanted to type a book because it was like, oh, this is so cool, this texting thing. Look at this.
A whole dissertation.
I'm sending a message here. This is pre-Facebook. We might be still in MySpace world. I don't know. But
MySpace.
Just outside of the pager.
Just breaking news. I've just found probably the best meme of the evening or of the day.
Oh, I can't wait.
Posted about what's going on.
Fantastic.
Tell us.
It is.
What'd you find?
You have to be of a certain vintage to understand the reference of this meme.
That's interesting.
That somebody created. I had to share it just on Facebook, but it is unbelievably fantastic.
Oh, so you're gonna make us log on to social media to see it?
I want Lanny to.
Not doing it.
Lanny's, if you don't want to, but I'll show you on my screen if you want to see it. But
okay,
it is hilarious.
we're holding on.
Check it out. Does that look at all familiar to you? You might be just a hair too young of what that is.
Yeah, I'm hanging on to.
I bet I know it though. I'm an old soul. Oh, is that what movie was that?
Superman. Superman,
yes,
remember?
The old Superman.
Yeah,
yes.
The original Superman movies. It was,
I'm so glad she knows.
Zod.
Zod, yes.
Zod
General
and
Zod, yes.
They're in the flying piece of glass through space.
No, I remember that. I remember
this is the best meme that I've seen.
That is hilarious. I will say this though.
So who's in that piece of glass?
It's Pence.
All the Trumps.
Yeah, Trump and his daughter.
Where are they going?
Just out into space. They're gone.
They gone.
Yeah. Nobody cares.
Somebody posted
What's that kid you said that
classic.
you saw? Okay, bye.
Goodbye.
Okay, bye. Bye, idiots. Oh my God, that was so funny. Just sitting at the park.
Shit.
I should have voted for that kid.
Yeah.
Just sitting at the park and just, waiting. It was a first date. I was waiting. That's what's so weird too. It's so weird to date nowadays because you just don't know like what everybody's comfortable with. Like dates are so weird, which again, I can't decide if it's like, is it cool? Is it weird? It was kind of cool. But I'm sitting there waiting for my date to arrive and I'm sitting at a park and the playground was right behind me. And just out of the blue, all I hear is just this kid screaming. He's leaving the park just screaming, bye, idiots. Bye, idiots. And I loved that kid in that moment. I was like, I think that's going to be just my salutation from now on. When you guys leave, I'm going to be screaming.
Bye, idiots.
Bye, idiots.
Exactly.
Kid just screaming to all of his friends, bye, idiots.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Too much. Well.
Oh my God, that kid was the best. But I will say this, like that is, God bless the internet for that. Because anytime something like this, anytime there's anything of note, you gotta love the internet for just the memes.
I just love that. I just love the creativity. That's how I look at
honestly.
it. The creativity in the reference. I mean, the pop culture reference, or it's just comedy. I mean, it's like we're inspired to do a podcast, or Misty's inspired to do a podcast because we watch podcasts of a lot of our favorite comedians we follow,
right?
Whether Joe Rogan, Bert Kreischer, Tim Dillon, which we talked about that crazy guy before. who's awesome. He's got a latest thing that he actually has a new one that he posted tonight. But
I would say during this time,
just the creativity is so cool,
especially within the past 8 months or so, that it's been sort of a comic relief just to even find
Honestly.
some of the new. Oh, I shouldn't say they're new to me comics that you start to follow, and then they have podcasts, and that's been their outlet throughout this whole thing too. Is to podcast or YouTube.
Sure. And I think everybody, that's what I love about comedians is that, they just take something, they can take any situation and just kind of break it down and just, really, you look at some of the things that we do and it just, when you really break it down, just the absurdity of some of it. And it's just, we all need to laugh.
Yeah.
We all need to laugh. I don't care what, what political party you support or, where you're from. We all need to laugh. And sometimes
it's so good for you.
Yeah. And it's nice to just kind of listen to somebody just kind of point out just the ridiculousness of,
right. having all these outlets,
everyday life,
and having all these outlets and avenues to comedy has just been fantastic. I've always been a big fan of comedy. Yeah. Growing up as a kid, I would watch.
Oh, me too.
I would watch all the stupid Gallagher specials, HBO specials, or George Carlin, of course, the legend, and even Richard Pryor. Because I grew up, my parents, we were like, we got cable in 1983 or 84, right? When Comcast first came to the neighborhood, so we jumped on that. We jumped on that bandwagon, right?
My vintage.
So, it was such a big event to watch HBO or MTV, being introduced to that, but just the introduction to all things comedy and all these different comedians and stuff, and was just amazing. From obviously watching Richard Pryor, George Carlin, Gallagher, to eventually when Eddie Murphy did his first Raw.
Oh my God, Eddie Murphy's
Delirious,
Raw.
right?
Yes.
So
just a game changer.
And it was such a scandalous thing. It's like, oh my God, this he's swearing, and now it's just nothing. It's just no big deal. The internet's just, remember when they started putting parental advisory on music that you had to buy at the music store? It just sold more music. It didn't keep people from buying
I
music.
couldn't wait. All I wanted was Green Day's album Dookie. That is
right.
all
or
I wanted.
MWA, Straight Outta Compton, or
the first one that I remember that my parents were like,
Ghetto Boys, whatever.
Nope, that's got that parental advice. And then I was like, I gotta hear it.
Gotta have it. Right.
I gotta hear Billy Joe. I gotta hear Billy Joe sing whatever he say. I just wanted that Green Day album so bad, so I would go over to my friend's house and listen to it. My earliest kind of love of comedy, honestly, was David Letterman.
Yeah.
And to this day, and it's so funny because I remember being a kid and I had like a small little black and white TV, and I had to be in bed at a certain time, but I would take my blanket and I would put it over, I'd go under my blanket and put the TV under my blanket, and I would watch Letterman. And it was just that, it was so... Especially, and I'm still like that. I still like to watch something funny and light before I go to bed. There was something so therapeutic about having a good laugh before, to cap off your day. That was kind of like my earliest memories of.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Comedy as therapy. Comedy as just to bookend your day with David Letterman just chucking a watermelon off a roof. It was just so funny. And the top 10 list, and it was just fantastic.
I would stay up and watch Letterman, or I would bounce between Letterman or Johnny Carson when Johnny Carson was doing it before Jay Leno.
Yeah,
so I got to watch all the last of the Johnny Carson era days of the Tonight Show. Oh my gosh, that was the best. Once I discovered that and watched those, and then I don't know if you girls remember it, but I don't know what late night that was, Friday night, Saturday night. I don't know if it was weekend or whatever, but the Benny Hill show would come on late at night.
I used to
he was
love
that British comedian.
It was a little before my time, a little bit, but I got a little bit into it the older that I got.
But the Benny Hill show, just this scandalous, British comedy guy, and I would watch that and just learn something interesting at a young age.
We used to have, a friend of mine used to have like a get together every Saturday to watch SNL.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Back in the
Yeah, I
day.
would
That
love
was
like
a thing.
that
Yep.
comedy really is kind of that the great
I do remember
equalizer.
that.
That's the great equalizer is
That was a big deal.
everybody needs to
do
laugh.
that Saturday night, stay up late,
Yeah.
get
watch
together,
SNL.
get a group together.
I would go over my friend Greg's house and we'd watch Saturday Night Live, every Saturday night.
One that I like to watch too, though, and it kind of stems from just my mom, is Carol Burnett.
Yeah.
Oh
there you go.
yeah, Carol Burnett. That's a good one.
Yep.
Yeah, super funny.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Just the purest. I don't know. Just some of those old ones. Just that. And it's still funny.
Yeah.
It's still funny.
It's still
Sure.
classic.
You'd
It's still
you can still watch you
Right.
can still watch the Carol Burnett show and
I
it's
think
still funny.
she is in something as sort of maybe a cameo, something recent. I just don't remember what the name of it that there's something out there right now that I believe she's in as a cameo.
God, I hope so.
And I mean, yeah, of course she's older, but
it's still
very cool.
One of my favorite shows, and I'll rewatch it, until waiting for the next season. Have you seen Grace and Frankie on Netflix?
Oh yeah,
we love
we
that
binge
one.
watched.
Fonda,
We
Lily
binge
Tomlin.
watched that whole
Yes.
series.
Lily
best.
Tomlin is still. I mean, she
Yes.
still kills.
Hilarious.
She kills. Yeah.
Yes. Very hilarious. Yeah. We love that one. I've watched that one over even because
it's so funny.
the next season hasn't come out yet. I'm like, well, let's just rewatch this one again.
Exactly. And it's like that. Just that gift is just timeless. She's still
Definitely.
She still kills. That's a great one. But yeah, that's another example of, I might have seen an episode, or a season already, but like I'll, before I go to bed,
Right.
it's like, oh, let me just.
That's an interesting fact, though, to talk
just
about
laugh.
the late night, comedies that had a show. And like you said, you'd watch that came on at maybe 10:30, Eastern Standard Time. And I mean, I can remember that as well. And even if you went on vacation, you could still have that. You could still watch that if you were at a hotel room or something. And I can remember that, even turning that on and just giggling to death over some silly thing that whatever Jay might have been even doing,
Exactly.
And
exactly.
Or whenever Robin Williams would come on.
Oh my God, that was great. And it was, I don't know, maybe I just wasn't paying attention when I was younger, but I miss the silliness. You know what I mean? I don't watch a ton of late night now because everything seems to be, I don't know. I don't know if it's wrong or not. I mean, I guess everybody deserves a platform, and if you have something to say, great. But I just miss like I said, I say it all the time, but I'm like, I just want to see somebody chucking a watermelon off of a roof. You know what I mean?
Just
that
doing silly stuff.
Yeah,
right?
that silliness, or just the comedy, or just being.
Yeah, goofy.
Yeah,
Goofy.
Just having
Goofy humor, bringing that back, right?
Too
just
much
having
seriousness.
a laugh. You know.
That's why I got so addicted to when the Jackass series came out, and just watching the crazy stunts that those fools did. That was just amazing, because I was like, those guys are getting away with it. They're not killed. They're not dead, which they've come pretty close. But they're getting paid to do that, and it's hilarious. And they're comedy sketches, but they're done doing stunts and using a really weird, demented part of the imagination to get a laugh and to do some crazy stuff that all stemmed from, the skateboard culture, right? So,
right, exactly.
But that can always rerun on syndication, and I'll always stop and watch it.
Oh, I'll always watch it. Yeah, it's always funny. I think you really have to appreciate the I don't know, like I said, I think you really have to appreciate how therapeutic it can be, just to have a laugh, and just to, just to take yourself out of, real life for a minute and just watch some dude riding in a shopping cart.
Right. Exactly.
Who didn't try that, by the way?
That's so true.
Who didn't try that?
And how many funny things or goofy, silly stuff did we do?
Oh my God, it was so stupid.
And it is kind of funny because, like kids, they kind of do that. I mean, if they're not looking at their cell phone screens maybe too much, but you would appreciate that childlike mentality of just some stupid thing.
And you know what's
saying
funny?
Or whatever.
To this day, if I'm out somewhere and, as long as they're not hurting anybody, if I see a group of kids just making a weird noise or, just doing it, to this day, I just go, I'm going to let that go. Because you know what? That was me. Once upon a time, that was me.
We did just to clarify about where we did some of these weird things. We were in band.
Marching band.
High school marching band.
We were a competitive band.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had a lot of practice time. We had band camp, of course.
To clarify, we don't have any musical acumen. We were in the color guard. We were the flag twirlers. So there's no Louis Armstrongs in this group here. We had no musical acumen. We were just
nope.
We were along for the ride.
We were along for the ride.
We twirled some flags.
In some goofy costumes.
Right.
Some really goofy, some paint, just there was anything and everything because we did it for how many years. So, it's there was every year was a different act.
Yep.
And we were at Silverdome. We competed there.
Pontiac Silverdome.
We had our hair pulled through these hood things at one point.
Oh my God, that was so weird.
One piece at a time.
For any of the women out there that know what we're talking about, if you try to do highlights at home, it's like that little skull cap thing that you put on your head.
You're absolutely right.
And then you have to take hooks and pull your hair.
All for a costume.
That was one of our costumes.
Someone made that up. I don't know where that came from. We didn't make it up.
No, we had a very, very, very artistic.
Yes.
Flamboyant, artistic, color guard coach.
Awesome guy.
We need to track him down though.
How do we do that?
I don't know. Over the years I've tried to find him on social media and I don't think he is. We got to track him down though. I'm a little bit of an amateur private investigator. / stalker. I'm sure I could.
I'm going to give it to you because last time I heard he was probably in Wyandotte.
Yeah,
area,
last time I knew he was living in
Riverview,
the same city
maybe.
as me. Yeah,
something like that.
Find him.
Well, I mean, it was an interesting time, and maybe we were just twirling some flags around. But sometimes I take that paddle and I do the same thing. I start rotating around.
This is what children did prior to cell phones.
I'm standing on the board I'm start twirling it like it's a flag,
When we were sneaking off to try to find places that we can smoke without adults. Too.
We had a really good band.
We did.
And
it was a great band.
Good drum line.
Yeah.
Right? And a lot of people. I don't remember. How many people were in the band total?
Oh, over 100.
Right? About 140 to 150.
It's a huge band.
Yeah. So I do clarify that when I tell people, oh yeah, I was in the band. Oh, what did you play? And just like we said,
just to be clear,
kind of didn't play anything, but we were very competitive and we were really good.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of a lot of memories, a lot of friends, band camp, the band moms.
That was a ball,
right?
That was so much fun. Yeah, we had a great time.
And we had a great time having even just guy friends. It wasn't just the girls all the time. It was, collectively there was back and forth relationship of
exactly
guys and girls.
We really had a great group of
across grades as well. Not just juniors being juniors.
Oh yeah, which is funny because you graduated a year before me or
I was
2 years?
2000, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So a year before, because I was one.
What would be a really cool addition to this podcast right now while you're talking to this is to try to call Eric Brown and add him to the podcast.
Oh my God.
Eric
Do I dare try?
Brown.
That would be funny.
That's hysterical. Is he still out in Seattle?
No, Portland.
Portland.
Yeah.
That's where he's at.
Portland, and he stays on the coast surfing.
On the weekends
when he's not
rotation.
Rotation and.
That is funny.
Yeah. Yep. That would be a good.
His annual Christmas cards
are the best, right?
I know.
Yeah. And
This year's will be very interesting.
This I know.
I expect the best and most obscure,
Eric Brown,
creative.
If you
Christmas
hear this
card
podcast,
from Eric Brown.
You are on call.
Bring your A game.
Yeah.
Bring the A game. Guess what? I keep the card on my refrigerator.
Yeah.
All year round.
All year round until
yeah.
the next one. Yeah.
And when people come over, they're like, why is this man in his diaper?
Yeah. What is this man in this Depend diaper doing on your refrigerator?
And he's doing a
With
yoga
Christmas
pose.
hat on. Yeah, right.
I said, oh, that's Eric
Oh
Brown.
my God.
What instrument did Eric play when he was in the band with
What
you
did he
guys?
pick? Trombone?
No.
Trumpet?
No, he was, wasn't he saxophone?
Yes. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Of course.
I believe so.
I'm a little bit more sophisticated instrument for that very smart man.
Oh, I know.
Yes. But equally, again, goofy. We had a lot of goofiness. A lot of fun.
To be that smart. I mean, to know him just for a short while, but to be smart, but to have such a great sense of humor and lively personality, and his version of fun or relaxation is to go to the coast and go surfing.
Oh yeah,
that's awesome.
Because that's kind of not rare, but you don't see that often. People that are that smart, they're so cerebral.
Yeah. Or they're OCD and they have to have like a crazy routine, very conservative, very 1, 2, 3.
There's
down
certain
the list, right?
For people that are that smart. Sometimes there's a certain like social, there's a social thing that's sort of lacking, or not that it can. It just he's so funny.
Or you're supposed to fit into a certain pre-prescribed role.
Right.
When he's the absolute opposite of that, which is awesome for being.
Yeah, he's fantastic. He totally breaks the mold.
And we're all already anticipating the 2020 card.
Exactly.
Yes. So you better
we're on the edge
bring
of our
that
seat.
shit, homie.
We're on the edge of our seat.
Again, we all just need to laugh, Eric. We're on the edge of our seat.
We're waiting for you to come through.
And he's living in a city that experienced a lot of protest chaos with the past, 6 months.
Exactly.
And he survived it. So far, we haven't talked to him in a bit, but
we did see him over the summer. He did come to Michigan for just a little bit, and it was very quick.
Yeah, him and his other smart brother that goes to Yale. Was that correct?
Yeah.
Oh, good Lord!
Get your phone and do a little Bluetooth, and see if he'll pick the phone up, just for the hell of it.
Should I try it?
Yeah, just try it.
Impromptu.
Yeah, just do it. This is too good.
This could be a bit. This could be a bit that we do on the podcast.
This is too good to try to to get him on.
Impromptu phone calls. It's gonna be a.
Hey, this is Eric. Please leave a message and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
Come on, dude.
That's funny. He would be interesting to be on the podcast.
I would agree.
You know what I mean?
Because of
just with whatever his
experiences,
perspective is out there,
and even just talking to him about everything that was going on when he came out in July.
Yeah,
and I mean, we literally just met with him at the end of the dock. They came out.
Yeah,
we sat for sunset, maybe.
Right.
Him taking in the time even to self-care and just do surfing. Get away from the area, and which he's always embraced anyways. Yeah, that was part of why he even picked Portland. I mean, he tried other places as well, but at least, Portland, going there gave him the chance to go and surf on the coast.
Which is the core of this podcast, is health and wellness for the most part. So
exactly.
Everything segues
Everything
back
segues to what we do for health, wellness.
Yes.
All things therapeutic.
Right. Laughter. Exercise.
Exactly.
Outdoor experiences. Conversation.
Oh my God, we got to turn this into, listen, we have to have some video footage too, because y'all should see me on that paddleboard. You ever see one of them weeble wobbles?
Yeah, right.
Shit's funny.
Well, but you came out to the pool and tried it.
Yeah.
I did.
It was like that's like an intermediate level. Yeah. Beginner level as well, but a middle.
I'm representing the fatties. Listen, if I can get up on that thing,
you know what though?
Anybody can. I'll try anything. You know me. I'll try anything once.
That is true.
You're
very open-minded.
I'm very adventurous. I'll try anything more than once. And not afraid to make a fool out of myself.
It takes some creative mind and open-mindedness to do something new like that or try it. And but you know what, I haven't shared this yet. I have a paddle like private group, Facebook group, where I put in some like inspirational things, and it doesn't always have to be a picture. And I found a blog from a girl who a little bit more on the heavier side, and she thought that maybe she couldn't do this. And turns out she's like, no, this is for everyone. And it doesn't matter. Like none of that matters.
Yeah.
And so she wrote a really nice blog on her side about her and being on a board outside and just her experience. And it was pretty cool and inspirational for anybody else out there too that think that they couldn't do that.
And you could be missing out. That's the thing. I mean, listen, there's nothing I love more than other people's hobbies and the things that there are things that I'm passionate about. I love to cook and, but I've had friends, I have a friend, I haven't seen him in a while, but he loves to line dance. He's a line dancer.
Wow. I
went out dancing with him.
Wow.
Nice. Cause it was just, I was just kind of like, all right, it's not my thing, but
Eric Brown says, can you give him 30 minutes?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Cool.
We can chew up a lot of time. We can chew up a lot of discussion in 30 minutes.
Oh yeah. That conversation, the initial prototype podcast that we did, the
vault footage.
We got like an hour 40 and it just seemed like it flew by.
Oh, it did.
Yeah.
It did.
I couldn't believe it. I looked down and I said, well, the SD card's not going to hold anymore, and we're about an hour, just over an hour.
The
and 40
SD card
minutes.
limited us, which was good, so we can save it for the real one, which is now
exactly.
podcast number 1.
But yeah, but I love paddleboard. It's not perfect. It certainly isn't pretty, but
to me, it's the true equalizer.
Yes.
Because it's just like, it doesn't matter who you are, shape, size, whatever. Right. Everybody gets on that board. Everybody starts at 0.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Because everybody's just like this all new. Most people haven't done it before. Everybody starts at 0, right?
That's what's kind of not cool about it here is that I think it's you've gone and done certifications and classes and whatever, like out in San Diego, and it's probably more ubiquitous out there, right? That's probably more of it. Right. That's a thing out there.
Yeah.
People go, I think that there's such an interest here because it's so different. It's something that I don't think anybody...
It's something that I sort of take for granted. And, and I was thinking about it even over the last couple of weeks because I'm redoing my website, and redoing it just means that the layout's going to be different and there's going to be more information on there that's displayed differently. And it caused me to sit down and like look at it a little bit like closer. And it's something that I am close with, but then you look at it at a different perspective and you're like, wow, you know what? You think about this again. How many times do you have to describe what is paddleboard yoga?
Yeah.
And most never seen it. Didn't know it existed.
Oh, I think most people probably have never seen somebody out not around here, not in Michigan. People have never seen anybody paddleboard, much less.
Yeah. You see a lot of kayakers, but not standing on something.
So it really is, mind you, it's not something that you came up, but to do it here is really innovative. And to stick with that and to be creative like you've been and doing it in the winter months, doing it inside at the pool. And that's really, that's I don't want to say groundbreaking, but it's bringing something to an area that may not necessarily already have a market for that. So, it's ballsy. It takes balls.
I appreciate it. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a lot of storytelling to try to try to tell someone what this is or show them. I mean, imagine you're trying to convince a pool owner, hey, I'm going to put some boards in the pool. And they're like,
I'm going to tie them up. I'm going to put a bunch of people on them.
Wait a minute.
You're going to do yoga on what?
They're like, how does this work? What do you do? So I have to paint the picture.
Yeah.
Pretty much for everyone, for a lot of people. And the pool, I last year, I mean, I find myself a little lucky because I had someone that was willing to be open-mindedness and be willing to have the creativity to even, hey, let's entertain this for a minute.
Yeah.
And she was really good about it and it worked.
Sure.
The
pool was cool. I mean, if you've never done it before, because I mean, I've done it on the water, but I mean, the pool's cool because it's a lot less, if you've never done it before, it's a lot less intimidating because you don't have, the wake of, the open water. So,
you have the control.
It was cool. I got to give you a lot of credit. It's not something that I would have ever thought, the idea is there. It's just not something that I would have ever thought to do. So,
right. Yeah. Well, I mean, they, like you're saying, in the area, not a lot of that going on. In other places,
sure,
it's definitely happening.
And it's something nice for the quarantine too. I mean, for this whole pandemic, it's like, well, there is nothing more social distance than, I mean, you know what I mean? When you're out on the open water, I mean, you're at
like
least
in your own
6
playground.
feet.
You're in your own playground.
Yeah.
And you got your own board. It's like your own little safety vessel, and you just, you're there, and you're like, if that person comes a little closer to me, I'm paddle away.
See ya. Yeah, right.
See ya. But no, I mean, really, and it was a great summer for what we were all faced with.
Yeah.
I mean, not just me. People came out and were respectful to one another about even keeping a distance or wearing something protective. And we had great weather as well. I mean, I can't express it
was a good summer. It was a lot less bummer of a summer as I thought it was going to be. I mean, I really thought this summer was going to be a real mother effer.
You're telling me, I know. I thought the worst.
Wasn't bad.
It was just going to be everybody's all cooped up, totally afraid to even come outside.
Nothing's going to go on. I mean, not to say that I didn't miss the, ball games and street fairs and, but, I don't know. I've seen as messed up as things seem right now, I really have seen some of the best in people. I really have. I've really seen some of the best in people.
Yeah.
It's hard when, if you kind of get too engrossed in, the riots and the this and the that, it really, it just seems like the world's going to hell in a handbasket. But, in your everyday life, I will give you an example. Yeah. When I went to go vote.
Yeah.
So I went.
So you went in person.
I did. Okay. I did. I'm not a huge conspiracy theorist, but I had my absentee ballot and I thought, you know what? I kind of want to see what this is going to look like.
Yeah.
And B, I just don't want there being I want my, there's something about putting that thing through that little electronic machine. I don't want there to be some US mail bullshit, but, so I thought, well, I'm going to get there right at 7. So I pull up at 7:05 and obviously, because of social distancing and that. So, the line is where I go to vote. The line was out the door, through the parking lot and down the alley.
Wow.
Mm. So I thought, it is what it is. Yep. I work from home. No big deal, so I hopped in line and I really, there was a part of me that was like, all right, get a big ass cup of coffee, girlfriend, because you're going to say, I was so expecting because you're so, I don't know. You hear things on the news and on the this. So it's like, and I don't go too many places these days. So you're just like, oh my God, the world's just turned into a collective group of assholes. So I was expecting to hear more rhetoric and and honestly, I mean, I stood in line and there was a couple of guys behind me that were in this huge line and you'd think people were just agitated. And he's like, well, this is great. I'm glad to see this many people out voting. Yeah. And I'm like, nobody was talking about any one particular party. It was just
the general
he was glad to see
voting.
That many. So then I'm standing in line. So now I'm toward the middle of the line. So now there's probably 50 to 70 people in front of me. There's probably 80 people behind me. It is all the way down the alley. Well, so where I was standing, I was toward the edge of the parking lot and then it gets into a gravel alley. So here comes walking up this woman in her 60s, and her husband, she's pushing him in a wheelchair. He's in a wheelchair.
Okay.
So she kind of just crests the parking lot, and immediately you can see this is not going to be pretty. And I said, and I just go, listen, and I turn around and I said, hey, I'm yelling down, does anybody mind if she gets in front? And everybody was just going, no, not at all. You get in front. You just go ahead and get. It really was heartwarming that cool. In a situation that really could have been really volatile and people really could have just been in a mood. And then I really saw the best in people in that moment. Wow. And I don't know. I haven't been to too many places where people weren't. Your paddleboard that you made.
Yes.
Did you sell it?
No.
No.
So what I did was
is this a sale item?
It is. It's still for sale.
Okay.
It's just fortunately I found winter refuge for it.
Okay.
At my friend Taylor's across the lake. He's got a really cool house that's on the water, and he has like really cool vaulted tall ceilings. And we were able to
met
actually,
Taylor, right?
Yeah, we're actually,
you've been on his pontoon for the fireworks.
Yeah,
so
I was.
You mooch off the friends' friends.
Yeah,
I
friends.
I mooch off the friends. Yeah, exactly.
So anyways, it just coincidentally happened
moocher.
right before there was like this neighborhood get together. They call it the fall crawl of the people on his side of the lake.
It's
and
adorable.
over on Cass, they go to each other's homes and everybody has a drink, a special drink or hors d'oeuvre to hand out. And they go to like almost like 15 different houses.
Should come out for that.
And
mixing liquors, that sounds
it's
amazing.
and it's like you go to everybody's house for
that
like a half hour and then walk to the next house for a half hour.
Spiked ciders.
Yeah, it's super fun. You get
moving from liquors.
You get completely freaking hammered.
Fucked up,
yeah, and you should hopefully have a safe way to get home, right?
Sure.
But anyways, the week before,
I'm a barf on that pontoon boat.
Yeah, the week before his this whole event happened, his house was number one as being the start of the fall crawl. So he said, yeah, I asked him coincidentally, can I, store up the paddleboard over there to show how it would look in somebody's home?
Yeah.
I'll take photos of it for my social media and for the, to promote it. And you'll have a cool thing stood up in your house. He's like, oh yeah, for sure. Cause we talked about it a long time ago, but actually he's like, oh yeah, you know what? We're having this fall crawl. It'd be perfect. I'm going to have a bunch of people in the house that actually get to see it and could potentially get some interest.
Sure,
so
like a gallery item.
It actually, worked out pretty good. We got to show it off and got a lot of people that were just, holy cow, you built that thing. And it's just awesome. When,
this paddleboard has gotten a lot of coverage.
We got some people that were kind of really eyeing it, really interested, but that's the type of exposure.
I was just curious if that was going to be a labor of love. This was going to be
for the listener.
You birthed that baby and now you're just going to give it up for adoption, or could you not part with it? But
no,
I got to go ahead and get rid of that.
Yeah, because I definitely look forward building.
He's thought about it
the
quite
next
a bit.
one. Yeah,
for the listener,
that's what you get off. It's the build, right?
It's never the finished product.
The finished product.
It's the experience of
you
going
like
through
the project.
Yeah, I like
you're
the process.
You're that busybody. You are always building something.
I'm the process person.
Yep.
I don't care what happens at the end. I mean, when it comes to working on a car, yes, at the very end, the thing it runs and it works. It's
sure.
that's what I enjoy. But building that, it's all about the process. So
I'm
ready. It's like, okay, done. All right, let's get on to the next process.
Sure. So. Yeah, you like to tinker.
Yeah,
you like to tinker for sure.
So that's
it's not just a tinkering; it's a perfectionist. It's almost
well, this one had to be as bitchin' as I could make it because it's got to represent.
But
my
every
brand,
project
right?
for him is this way. It's not just
the
14-foot paddleboard, wood paddleboard. Yeah. It's everything.
Yeah, no, he likes to pretend like he's just on the porch.
It's what I do for a living. Is really, trying to be a pseudo perfectionist.
He likes to pretend like he's just he's whittling matchsticks on.
For the listener,
on the
if you don't follow Jeremy on Facebook or Instagram, he is the wood of all type water vessel between Chris Craft, kayak, and paddleboard.
Yeah.
No,
exactly.
No joke. He is sort of becoming well known within Sylvan Lake. If you have a problem with your sunfish sailboat or your boat in general, or if you do own a Chris Craft,
sure.
Jeremy has become
if you want him to build you a Chris Craft,
the guy to go to.
If you want him to build you a houseboat.
restore it, maintain it. I wouldn't
you want
build
him
it from
to build
scratch.
you
I don't have the capacity to build something
log
that big
home.
from scratch.
He's building a houseboat this summer, actually.
I'm not. No,
Oh yeah, it's going big. We went from 14-foot paddleboard to
I'm not Dan
houseboat.
I'm not Dan Connor trying to build a giant
setting sail.
yacht in the garage. Sorry.
We're setting sail.
The first episodes of Roseanne, Dan Connor, he's bought
Sanding on boat frame.
Yeah.
Frames of a boat that he's trying to build in
and
his
the
garage.
episodes actually kept continuing. You know, when there's a story that builds,
You see progress.
and then it keeps going, it keeps threading into the other episodes. Well, that's what happened in the very beginning, very first season, episodes of between 1 and whatever. He is building a boat in the garage, and he gets a Viking head. And she says, "What is that?" She's like, "This is for the boat." Mm-hmm. And then there was another episode where they were trying to save money, or they had actually
gotten a little bit of money from a job
gained some
that he
income.
scored, yeah.
And they're like, what are we going to do with the money? Oh, we should save it. Oh, we should pay that bill off. Oh, I really want this perfume. And he's like, I want this bell for the boat.
I want this ship's bell, brass bell for the boat. Right?
She gets the perfume, he gets the bell, but they try to keep it away from each other. But they're sitting there at the table, and she has to end up confessing about buying the perfume that she really wanted that cost that maybe $50, who knows. And he's like, well, I can't believe you did this. And then remember the kids, the little DJ, the boy, the youngest kid, he comes walking into the kitchen ringing the bell.
Bong, 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 bong.
For whom does the bell
It was just
That's Jeremy, though. I could see that being Jeremy. Like, that's, he's
bong, bong, bong. Yeah,
obscure relics for his next build.
Oh, yes.
His next project.
That is happening.
Yeah.
There's a piece of wood. I don't know what it's from, but it's just in our garage.
It's actually an original piece of the boat that we do have.
He
the
claims
Chris
he
Craft that we have.
inherited it.
Yeah, it's a deck plank called a
Lanny, what would you do with such things like this?
Yeah.
I don't know, but that's none of my business. What would Jeremy do? WWJD. What would Jeremy do with a giant?
I'm hanging it on the garage wall as a
driftwood.
memento. It does look like a piece of driftwood, but it's an actual.
It does look like a piece of
It's an original deck ceiling board from the Chris Craft.
I looked out today in the garage from the step coming out of the kitchen. I said, "What's that? What is that over there?"
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna whittle you some kind of
no, just original.
some kind of.
It's a trophy. It's part of the history. It's a part of the history of the boat.
Seafaring vessel.
It's an original piece of wood from the boat.
I'm along for the ride at this point.
It was repaired at some point.
I just work here.
That was a piece that was saved.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just work here. FYI, Eric Brown has now said call whenever.
Oh, sweet. All right.
Yeah,
let's
fire
get on
that
this.
up.
All right. Segue time.
Okay,
Let's get
segue.
into
Fire
back to
that
Eric
up.
Brown. Make sure we're connected and it works. Yeah, you're good. Yep. All right.
Hello?
Hello, Eric. What's up?
Not much. Just hanging out.
Hanging out? Where are you?
I'm at home.
In Portland?
Yep.
Yeah. How's it going out there?
Pretty good. Been super busy with my research stuff. This month is going to be particularly crazy.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's going good.
I have you on the online here. We're doing the first official podcast of Wave On that I have created with my backing support system here. Lanny Ray O'Hara and Jeremy Rolfs.
What's up, Eric? How you
Hi,
doing,
Eric.
brother?
Hey,
And you
wait. We're on a podcast?
We're on a podcast.
As we speak.
Misty invested in a whole podcast
It's the
unit.
pilot
on the
episode.
It's the pilot episode.
You're
dude.
on the pilot
You're on.
episode. We're really
crap.
just shooting from the hip here.
Oh yeah.
Well, you were brought up, and we talked so much how we missed you, and fun times that we had through band and high school and things like that, and
Reminiscing.
And we said, well, we can get him on here. Let's call him up.
All right.
All right.
And then we said, you are on the hook. You're still on the hook this year for one of those cards. We're hanging on the edge of our seat.
For your Vanual Christmas card, brother, we're really wanting you to pull all out home run on this one this year.
Yeah, there's an idea I've been meaning to do like every year, but it requires a little warmer weather, and I kind of waited too long. So I would be too depressed if I didn't pull it off. I'm definitely going to get the card together. I just need to think of something. But yeah, I got to do that this month too.
Good.
It's been a hell of a year, Eric. We all need a laugh.
Yes.
You got to come through for us.
Oh yeah,
buddy.
it's going to be weird.
Guaranteed it's going to be weird.
That's amazing.
That's great.
I keep mine on the refrigerator all year round, and anyone that comes over, it wasn't many people this year that came over, but yeah, it's, this has been going on for how many years now, and every time someone says, who is that?
What the hell is that?
Who's that on your fridge?
Yeah, in July, I was visiting a friend of mine from medical school in he lives in Troy, I think, when I was home for a week. And when I walked in their front door, their coat, where they put their jackets by the front door, had that last year's Christmas card hanging there. I'm like sitting there in a diaper, like in a yoga pose.
That's awesome. Yes.
That's great.
That's exactly it. Oh my gosh.
That is classic. So how's what's the atmosphere like out there today with everything that's happened?
I haven't heard much. I'm sure that downtown by the courthouse where most of the protests happen, I'm sure there's a bunch of people down there. I was actually just watching the Biden speech, and I was thinking that I should have gone down there, but then also maybe I shouldn't, because sometimes it gets violent, as I think you've heard. But yeah, it hasn't been too crazy. Just the major protests that were happening in July have mostly died down. Now when you hear something, it's more just some people doing something stupid.
Right.
But yeah, I'm being boring right now sitting in my apartment, so I don't know what to talk about.
Have you been out surfing?
Yeah, I'm surfing at least once a week on average right now. I'm planning to go out for early mornings. I'm going to leave at probably by 4:30 in the morning to be there by 6.
Oh my gosh.
Surfing with a friend of mine.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome.
When you want to surf high tide, it doesn't necessarily come up in the middle of the day every time.
Right.
Exactly. The waves are not on your time.
Right.
No. Either is the wind.
Exactly.
There's a windstorm today, so the waves are massive, but
Yeah.
everything's going to die down tomorrow, so we'll get the tail end of that, and it's going to be amazing.
Nice.
Well, that's
Right
awesome.
on. That's awesome.
To give everybody listening a frame of reference, this is our friend living out in Portland, Oregon. So that gives you a frame of reference. This is the Pacific Ocean he's talking about.
And what beach is it you're going to tomorrow?
The usual. So one I took you guys to, and the water was swallowing the entire beach.
Yeah.
Short sand.
Yeah.
Yep, I remember
It won't
that.
be like that. I know that that's how you've seen that beach, but that's pretty rare.
Yeah.
Is that the only time that we came out and it was like that, and it's never been like that since?
Oh no! Usually, this past winter, I couldn't surf from mid-December until the beginning of February in Oregon, because it was just every time I went out there, it was like a washing machine.
Mm.
And it was just crazy weather for over a month.
Yeah.
With lots of storms and stuff, and just the waves were not only big, but they were just chaos.
Right.
So, but yeah, you guys came here, I think it was in November.
Yeah, it was.
Being like that in November is pretty rare. It's usually a January time frame.
Gotcha. Yeah, I really enjoyed going out there and seeing the ocean and just the small little spots that you can hike to get what you're talking about, to get down to see the water. And we show up and it was
all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, it was like a monsoon.
Yeah, no, I
the
think
entire time.
we had a lot of fun with like really terrible weather. I remember when we drove back to Portland, Astoria,
Yes.
and we were like all hopeful while we were in Washington that it was going to be a nice day.
Yeah.
But then literally while we were crossing the Columbia River back into Portland, it started raining.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was like automatic. Oh, you're back in. Okay, here you go.
Yes. Yeah. I know, right? It was fun though, exploring. I mean, we had never been out there before, so we were just exploring. even the skate area, or the skateboarders were at the park.
Burnside. Yeah, underneath the freeway. Yeah,
yeah.
That was really cool. Isn't that Burnside's under threat of being demolished too? Isn't it lately?
Yeah, I think it's in disrepair at the moment, but this comes up every few years, it seems like.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been around for decades now.
Right.
It's all volunteer run.
Yep.
So usually it seems like somebody stops taking care of it and the city gets mad, but then there'll be some group of skateboarders that will like take up the charge again and like keep it together.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's always on the cusp of losing it, and then somebody swoops in and helps it.
Skateboard.
Yeah, it's just hard to believe that it would ever come down because it's lasted so long, and it's world famous for being just this underground skate park.
Yeah, no, for sure. As long as there's skateboarders, there'll always be Burnside, I guess. That's cool.
Maybe. Yeah.
Hope so. But yeah, these girls were on the tip of talking about their color guard and band experiences and
marching band shenanigans.
And so were you part of the trips that you guys go to was it Disney World? You guys went down there? Disney World, right?
A couple times.
Yeah. Were you part of those?
Yeah, we were in Disney World on over the New Year's in 2000.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
That's the one we were talking about.
And you guys scored some illegal beers?
Yeah. That was fun.
I didn't. I must have missed that party.
I love how he likes to. I didn't
though.
I don't think I spearheaded it, but I participated.
There was a girl that I liked that I was like too afraid to kiss on New Year's, and I blew it.
I didn't know that.
That's hilarious.
Nice.
The world could have ended. This was the Millennium New Year.
Yeah. That was
God, you chickened out. Chickening out on the Millennium
You totally
New Year.
didn't go for it, dude.
Jesus.
Bummer.
That's hilarious.
Oh my god.
There's a meme on there's a meme on Instagram or Facebook for that now.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
Oh, have you taken kind of I guess a backseat maybe to the whole social media, Facebook check-in vibe, posting or whatnot, I guess.
Yeah, even before the election stuff was heating up, I felt like I was like checking my Facebook too much. It's not even necessarily something I enjoy, but then like I was getting like angry about things that I would see on Facebook, and then there was this like fake account that was posing as me, but I reported to Facebook, and a couple days went by and they still hadn't deleted the fake account. And that kind of freaked me out. And then I was thinking about it. It was like, why do I even look at this thing? So
right.
I decided to deactivate it until at least after the election. But like, I haven't looked at Facebook in it's been almost 2 months, I think. And like, I feel like my life is better.
Oh yeah.
Isn't it? We were just talking about that earlier because I had gotten off Facebook I don't think I've been on Facebook since like March. And it wasn't even really anything. I was kind of similar to you that what made it fun before, what made it kind of enjoyable, it just wasn't doing anything for me. And I mean, I was pretty active on Facebook and Instagram, and it just didn't do it for, and I feel the same way. It just was as somebody who was so active on social media to just one day just decide to go, Yeah, it's not for me. And to just log off and just never log back on. Because I was like you, I just felt like it's, what am I on this for? Or, why am I checking it so often? Or what? It's like just too plugged in. So yeah, I've been off it since March, and I feel like, the smaller my circle has gotten, I think the happier I've been.
Yeah, it's actually kind of weird how doing something so small, because this is a weird and funny example, but it's like I got to the point over the summer where I realized that I couldn't sit on the toilet and poop without looking at Facebook.
Word.
And so now I just enjoy pooping, and I for what it is.
Fantastic.
He's got
Full release.
Beautiful.
Oh, that's awesome.
Just beautiful.
Eric needs to be in some sort of ad campaign for unplugging.
Yeah.
And the tagline is going to be, I enjoy pooping again. I just enjoy pooping again.
Oh, man.
That's fantastic.
It's the new movement. No pun intended, right? Unplugging.
Unplugging. Get back to pooping.
Yeah, exactly. That's great.
That's great.
Oh, God. So did you,
that's a shirt design.
So it's a coincidence we're talking about this. Did you happen to see the Social Dilemma documentary, Eric?
I did, and honestly, I can't remember if I saw the Social Dilemma before or after I did the deactivation thing.
Yeah.
I think it was before.
Yeah.
That was interesting to me. It didn't really contribute a lot to me actually doing it, though. It wasn't like the reason.
Yeah.
But it does kind of highlight, this problem that we have, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That's been kind of insidious, but I think a lot of the pressure we feel, when I think about what did I like about Facebook before, and what are the kind of things that make it more of a subconscious bummer.
Yeah.
Is I think the ads are way more prominent. I don't when I scroll down on the page, it's not just my friends anymore. It used to be. It's all kinds of other junk from different organizations or companies trying to sell stuff. Or whatnot. And there's definitely something different than what it used to be. And the whole accumulating information of people and that being your main way of making money, on a small scale seems like not that big a deal, but I think the scale is so massive now, where Facebook has no incentive to have us pay memberships because they make way in order to have an account that's how we pay for Netflix.
Yeah.
To be able to watch movies,
Yep.
Yeah.
Facebook I think must make way more money off of us just giving them information than they would if we paid for an ad-free service.
Right.
Right.
No, that's true.
And I think
that is what kind of well, and that's really kind of when I watched it. I don't know who said it or where they said it, but it was something along the lines of when you start to realize that you are the product.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not, you know what I mean? They're not selling anything other than you are the product. And it just, that bothered me where it was like, yeah, no, that's true. That's true. Just my online presence is valuable to somebody because of just what advertisement can be geared toward. We're all a commodity.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I mean, we all actually knew that,
Yeah, exactly. Were you surprised by any of it? When you watched it, was anything shocking, or was it just okay, yeah, no, this is why? You know what I mean? Like you said, it wasn't contributory, but you just kind of go, yeah, yep, that's why I'm not. Yep, that's why I need to get off. Or was anything shocking to you?
Yeah, it wasn't shocking, but I think what it was, part of it was putting it into a framework to understand it rather than just feeling something weird about it. And also what's unsettling is how it was, at least initially, a very intentional thing to do.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But like I actually remember the moment where when I was in college, I was living in the rugby house at university, or one of the rugby houses at University of Michigan, and one of my roommates asked me if I was on Facebook, and I remember I can like see in my mind like looking over his shoulder at the computer, and like it was just a way for us to like share pictures with each other and like get together, like plan events, like plan parties and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was like really nothing more than that. And that's really all I want out of it.
Yeah, that's all. I think all of us really all
that's
we want
what irritates me the most, as especially when you add in the whole political propaganda of everybody just sharing. They're not even typing something. They just take something that they see, a meme or like a little, GIF or something. I don't know. It could be multiple ways to do this, right? Some sort of graphic. And they post this and it's like, I don't want to see this. This is called Facebook for a reason. It was because I liked looking at Lanny's cooking post because she's doing food prep, and she shares a picture of what she made and maybe the process. And then like you're sharing your surfing photos out west, and me was paddleboard stuff or whatever. And and I've never ever posted what my view is on something political or something that we should.
I mean, literally just as a way for people to go, okay, well, I don't see you every day, so this is just a chance for me to feel connected to you somehow. But once it did, like you said, once it started to get so divisive like that, or with the smartphones and all that, if I happen to go to Tim Hortons and get a coffee and my GPS picks that up, and then next thing you know, that's in my Facebook banner. It's like, all right, well, this is turned into a big, big filthy animal. Once it started being monetized like that, it was like, oh, okay, well, it's just
it's not even just Facebook. I've been planning to let my Amazon Prime account lapse, and so I've been trying to like just use Amazon to. Just use it as kind of a search engine for products.
Yeah.
And compare prices and stuff. But then I'm trying to buy things from the companies directly.
Yeah.
And I injured my calf when I was running in April or July. I don't remember. April or May. I don't remember. And then in like late May, early June, I was noticing, because I would be in the operating room at the hospital, and I would come home and notice that my leg was all swollen. And talking to some of the other residents, like some of the other residents use compression socks because we stand a lot.
Yeah.
So there's this company named Stockwell that sells compression socks that are kind of stylish or whatever. So I went online and I bought directly from their website. And I would think that if I go directly to a website, that maybe there won't be this like information trail.
Yeah.
But maybe it's because there's an email that got sent to my Hotmail account with my receipt or something. But on my Hotmail, when I would check my Hotmail email, there's an ad banner that I had never seen before. It started popping up, showing Stockwell socks all the time.
Right.
And also my Facebook. Even buying it directly from the company's website, I started getting these ads in different places for more Stockwell socks.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it just finds its ugly, evil way. It just weasels its way into everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's crazy.
I mean, how many people have told stories of, I was just talking about something.
I didn't even Google it. Yeah, next time I open my phone, it's there. Right.
And then all of a sudden it's there,
Yeah, that's happened quite a bit. And it's happened quite a bit where I've sort of become numb to it, and there's another one of those things that just happened.
I think when Misty and I were actually watching the Social Dilemma documentary, we were like, you know what? We looked at each other like, I wonder what Eric Brown's perspective is on this documentary.
We did.
But you know what, though? I think things like that is it ever going to change? No. But just the awareness.
Unless there's going to be some, because it's all the tech is so deregulated.
Sure.
It's going to take some, regulation to try to control that beast somehow.
And until that gets regulated, I do think documentaries like I think it's important just for everybody to understand. It's like, it's going to go on. Just question it. Just know that these things exist and just question these things. You know, when they were talking about how when you Google something and when you put something in that Google search bar and it completes it or it gives you the suggestions, those are suggestions that are geared toward your geographic area and your search history so just learn to question it. You know what I mean? I think people just, too many people just take the internet at face value. And it's like, just question it, you know, just know that exists and try not to, you know, fall into the matrix.
Yeah.
That's a good way
you
to
know
put
what I
it.
mean?
Yeah.
The matrix.
Are you guys, yeah, go ahead, Eric.
The laws do affect these things. Like recently, there was a law passed about that has to do with like cookies, like things that when we go to a website collect our information in different ways. And have you noticed that in the last month and a half, when you go to a website for the first time, there's this bar that pops up on the bottom of your screen that you can click a button to accept cookies, or there's usually a smaller link where you can change the settings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have been noticing that a lot more.
I have too.
At almost every site.
Actually, all.
Sure.
Because there's like a new, I don't know the details of it, but there's some new law passed not very long ago that requires this to inform you. I mean, there's lots of words. It's like too much to read, but if you click then don't click the accept link and click one of the other ones. Sometimes it's clear which one does it, and other times it's not. But it'll bring you to another page where some of the cookie settings you can turn off. But if you just click accept every time, they automatically turn all of them on, and then it's hard to find the page ever again.
Oh, interesting.
But we would have to pass like a law that, I mean, the most extreme would be to make collecting information as a commodity illegal.
Right.
Which I doubt that'll ever happen, but certainly there can be somewhere in between what we have now and that regulates it, like you say.
Right.
But it does.
Or it forces those people to have a pop up to where you can go and make some selections of what you would allow and what you wouldn't allow, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that's crazy. No, this was a great subject to talk to you about, since you're very neurally connected. So what's your perspective on crazy Elon Musk's idea of a Neuralink, full on Matrix style?
So I actually do research in this area. So what Elon Musk has done, there is a very interesting component, but most of it, like I'm assuming you're alluding to like his presentation that he gave a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Which is amazing, but also scary.
Yeah.
But most of the things he talked about, like the science that he is dealing with, is ultimately not at all new. Mm-hmm. Like, we know that we can take like electrodes that are even bigger than the ones he has, and just detect waveforms over more motor cortex, and find that the shapes of the electromagnetic waveforms that come from the cortex will correlate to different body movements. And so even there's feedback between the brain and a machine that you connect an electrode to, where not only will certain waveforms that you detect predict the desired movement on a pretty fine scale, but the person who's using this system and has an electrode in their head can also, over time, modify their waveforms to be more effectively interpreted by the machine. So the most of that science that he's building off of in terms of how brain-computer interfaces work is not new. He did not create that. He did not find that. What he did that's amazing is that machine that he's intending to be a surgeon, quasi-surgeon-less. I mean, the intention is to have a surgeon there, making sure the machine is doing safe things, but he's intending to have this machine make the incision, make the hole in the skull, and then what's really amazing is the way they apply imaging to place electrodes, not only on a fine scale, but also such that the electrodes, as they go in, are not hitting blood vessels.
Wow.
And then you can put this large array, which I believe he had thousands of electrode contacts that are going into the brain tissue in a small area without causing any meaningful damage to the brain. Obviously, putting an electrode in the brain, even a microscopic speed, it still does some damage on a very microscopic scale, but it's unlikely to be meaningful. My issue with the way he presented things is when he was showing the 3 pigs. He had, I think there was one pig that had never had it before. There was one pig that had it currently. He wanted to demonstrate that the pig is functioning just fine. And then he had another pig that he had it previously implanted, but then they removed it, and that pig was still doing fine. Is what he wanted to show. However, I don't think that he ever said how long that system was in. Also, pigs are awesome in terms of being like models for human surgery physically,
right?
But obviously, you can't get pigs to like participate in things on the level that we can.
Yeah.
Right. So he wanted to demonstrate that you can put this into somebody and then take it out later with no ill effects. Wow. And I highly doubt that's true.
Yeah.
And the reason is because, like I mentioned, there's this feedback. Like, if you're putting these electrodes in your brain, and if you're truly using it on a regular basis, your neurons will interact with this thing on a microscopic level, and also on an electromagnetic level, and it will become, in to some respects, a part of the way your brain functions. And your brain, again, if you're using this frequently for whatever it is you're using it for a long period of time, I don't know what the minimum duration of long period is, but at some point, your brain will become so used to this thing.
It'll be interdependent on it, right?
Yeah. If you imagine taking that out of someone who's been using it for years for something that's important to them, they will probably not feel normal. I don't know exactly how. It depends on what it will be. But I really don't think it's going to be like, oh, well, we'll just take it out now. And you're going to feel perfectly fine. Like, if you're using this thing regularly, like to move like a robotic arm or to interact with your computer, like, you're going to be missing that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's like it becomes another extremity, right? And then you lose that extremity, you're going to miss it. You're going to, right? You're going to feel a sense of separation anxiety, right? In some shape or form.
Yeah. So I don't think that having these things in our bodies for any meaningful duration and then suddenly removing them is anywhere near as trivial as he describes it to be. But I mean, it opens up a whole new world that could be amazing, or it could be scary as hell. Could lead to huge wealth disparities, because I'm sure this thing's not free. So poor people aren't going to be able to get chips implanted in their brain and then do better at math or something like that.
Right.
This whole room right now, everyone's got their jaws to the floor. We're all equally fascinated and horrified.
Yeah.
I may have nightmares tonight just on this.
I remember seeing
conversation.
There was a couple words you said in there, and Laney was.
I was like, what? that.
Yeah, I remember seeing something like this over 10 years ago or something, where they would put an implant in somebody's brain to help stop their tremors or seizures.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's almost like it's an advanced version of that, right? And so it's like you said, it's not new technology. It's been around.
Yeah. And I mean, actually, like research on a high level with understanding how to get our brains to interface with a machine that not just to like stop a pathological process like a tremor or seizure, but to like affect like a desired function, like making a cursor on a computer screen move with your mind. Like this has been going on, like research at a high level has been going on in this area for 20 years, possibly more.
Mm-hmm. So I know he showed his examples of he used pigs, but they got to be doing this on like chimpanzees.
I mean,
somewhere.
Yeah, probably. I think the pigs are better models for like the actual surgical procedure, just because their cranium is closer to other sides of ours.
Yeah.
Also, like you're probably going to have like groups like PETA bugging you if you're putting these in like chimpanzees or gorillas or something.
Yeah, right.
That's true.
So,
yeah.
Pigs are easier to pass off as less inhumane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes I get freaked out. Like the things that computers are slowly starting to take over aren't just like assembly line jobs.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's starting to creep into like more intellectual type jobs. Like when so I have a good example.
Mm-hmm.
I published a paper last winter on a particular neurosurgery topic, or a particular type of vascular neurosurgery lesion, because it caused this neurological disorder, unique or whatever. But anyway, I was trying to do the most comprehensive literature review that had ever been done on this topic, and I didn't want to exclude non-English language papers like most other papers do. So I had this paper. I had two papers that were in Spanish, and I found like a native Spanish speaker to translate for me. Two Japanese papers, and I have a friend from Japan translated for me. Russian. There's a medical student who's from Russia who translated that for me. And then I had this Polish paper, which was from the 60s. And I don't know anyone who speaks Polish. And so kind of last ditch, I wanted to submit the paper, and I figured if they want me to find like an actual Polish speaker to translate this for me, then I'll just deal with that in the revision. So for my first submission, I just used Google Translate, and I found that I could pretty much get everything I needed from it. And so in my paper, I wrote up that I just said like I had native speakers of these languages for these papers, but for this Polish paper, I used Google Translate, and I got what I needed. Blah blah blah. Here's my literature review. And on the revision, they never questioned this. So technology has advanced, and it's published now.
Oh,
so
wow.
technology has advanced to the point for language translation, something that only humans could do, 10, 20 years ago, and any time before that. Now computers are good enough at it that it passes peer review in at least clinical research literature.
Wow.
Yeah, that it can actually not just translate words; it can translate tenses and parts of speech and all that. That is fascinating to me.
Yeah, it's not perfect, but it's really good. It's scary good.
Yeah.
Wow. And this knowledge drop, this knowledge drop has been brought to you by Eric Brown, who is a former student of Southgate Anderson High School, where you guys all went to school together.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
We're not all gems like that. I feel like I need to go read a book. I feel like a moron.
Oh, that's
well,
awesome.
I also think too that again, it comes from just being open-minded and willing to absorb a lot of different topic and, being diverse, I guess, another way to put it. And I think that, Eric, I mean, you've always been that way, being skateboarder and
hockey player,
surfer.
And from observing all the podcasts that we do follow and watch, these podcasts all tend to go in so many different directions. And this one is, this being the first podcast, this is definitely pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. We got a little bit for everybody.
We are across the map.
Exactly.
What is it called?
It's called Wave On, and it's really just to keep interesting conversation and topic alive and share stories and connect with one another. And I think we're accomplishing that tonight.
You want to hear her professional grade intro, Eric?
Yes.
All right, here, play it.
You want me to play it
Yeah.
in the middle
play
of
the
the
intro
podcast?
Yeah,
again.
let's play the intro again. Listen to this.
Hi, welcome to the podcast. This is Wave On with Misty. I'm with Luna Moon Stand-Up Paddleboard Yoga here in Sylvan Lake, Michigan. And I want to welcome you to this inspirational podcast where you'll find stories behind the scenes, storytelling on and off of the water. We might talk a little bit about paddleboarding, but there's going to be a wide variety of guests coming, and I'm excited to introduce this podcast for you. I hope you enjoy it.
Pretty cool, huh?
That's awesome.
What do you think?
Professional.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, for the most part, it is health and wellness and creativity. Artists, bands, entrepreneurial type avenues. Yeah.
How are your friends in Astoria doing?
I haven't been seeing them. Obviously they're in their 70s, so
Yeah, they're full on
I think
quarantining and staying away, right?
yeah. I think the last time I saw them was in August. I just visited them a couple times in the summer, just chat outside and see their garden and stuff. But I haven't stayed over since before March.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Cool couple. Astoria, where the Goonies was filmed in Cannon Beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was super fun to see that bit of nostalgia.
You almost said history.
I know.
That bit of history.
Yeah.
The historical.
Yeah.
The cinematic, historical scene of the Goonies.
Yeah.
And you guys saw Haystack Rock, and
Yeah.
on a really cloudy, rainy day.
Yeah.
We did. And, because it was those, that crazy weather that was coming in. And
Yeah.
we had sneaker waves coming in. And
And that dude at the surf shop, you want to do what? You just look at outside. It's horrible out there.
we want some boards.
Yeah.
What's the big deal?
But
Well,
Eric's,
their threshold to say that is pretty low. Like when
Yeah.
I first moved out here and I was renting boards all the time, that would happen I don't know, like a quarter of the time during the winter. And many times they've said it, and I still was able to go surfing.
Oh, really?
But obviously that day it was legit. It was too crazy.
yeah.
No, you weren't
Not
you weren't trying to be Patrick Swayze in Point Break. You guys weren't trying to go full Patrick Swayze
Yeah,
in Point Break.
at the end of Point Break where he goes for the big 100-year storm, right?
Well, what do you guys think?
Cool. No, thanks, Eric, for picking up the phone, dude. This is awesome.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been on a podcast before.
All right.
Well, you are now.
You are now. This is your first one, man.
Oh, cool.
There goes your cherry.
Well, you never know. I might have to have you back so you can
scare the shit out of us again with all that neurology shit.
I'll be in Hawaii the first week of February.
Really.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, you can call me from there and I'll tell you how great it is.
Thanks for being a part of it and coming on.
I hope I met expectations.
Cool. All right, brother.
right.
It was good to talk to you.
Yeah, it's really good to talk to you, and we'll have to keep do this again.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for calling.
All right.
All right.
You have a good night.
You too.
All right. We'll see ya.
Peace.
Bye, Eric.
Oh my gosh.
That was awesome.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Eric Brown, ladies and gentlemen.
Eric Brown.
Eric Brown, our
My
neurology.
God, what is that brain not
know about?
process? My God.
Yeah, he's our neurological doctor friend out in Portland, Oregon.
Yeah, I'm completely freaked out.
A conversation like that from a scientist,
Yeah,
just gives you hope that science is real and science should be respected and observed and appreciated. That there's somebody out there, especially somebody you guys know and grew up with, that is trying to make a difference.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, totally. I mean,
exactly. And to hear someone like Eric kind of break that, somebody like Elon Musk and some of that's so high. That's so high level, and it's so
But he can break. He just broke it down to us on the very understandable layman's terms.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. We really haven't. We're light years away from really knowing what any long-term effects of that are.
Right. I want to support.
And that's fascinating.
And I want to support people that are, want to help this planet and this Earth first before trying to go to Mars.
Right.
Colonize another planet. There's there's things desperately needed to be fixed here before venturing off into outer space.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So.
Yeah.
agreed.
That's great. That's great to know people like Eric that are just kind of,
Mm-hmm.
Well, down to earth, real about.
Yes. And they're just, he's so crazy disciplined.
Yeah, exactly.
He's just so smart and he's so disciplined and so dedicated. And, it's just good to know that there are people like him that are putting in the work.
Yeah, exactly.
And I kind of like that. I like this kind of format where it's just, we'll talk about anything.
We'll talk about anything. We'll keep it relatable.
Yeah, exactly.
Inspirational.
And you might learn something.
You might learn something. Your mind might be blown tonight.
I know I did. Mine's blown. Mine's sufficiently blown.
Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed at least number 1 and gave it a shot, give it a try, and come back for round number 2.
Thanks for having me.
See ya.
Bye, idiots.
Bye.